Hey everybody, this is Jigsaw for WebOfCinema.com doing my review for Starcraft 2. That's right, 12 years in the making, a decade, and we finally have the second Starcraft we have been waiting for. Now first, little history. Starcraft is the game before like World of Warcraft, all of those Blizzard titles. It was a real-time strategy game. It was widely received, basically 10s and 9s, nothing positive. It's become basically the national sport of South Korea, and it's pretty much like one of the top 3, if not the best real-time strategy game that's been released in a long time. So how can such an imposing title like StarCraft ever have a sequel that will ever stack up? Well, StarCraft 2 it's been a while. We've all been waiting for it, and it brings a lot of the old and a little bit new. It does a lot to really bring that nostalgic feel. It's like you have games like Civilization, Tropica, and all those ones where it's like, manage your civilization, manage the economy, your people are rioting, all that stuff. They just basically look at that shit and go, fuck you, we're doing it the old-fashioned way. Build your economy up, build your armies up, and beat the shit out of each other. Damn it, that's what people want. The graphics, first off, the cutscenes are stunning. If you have a computer that can run it, it really is beautiful. You can notice a difference if you dumb it down, because I was curious, if you dumb it down to the low settings for normal computers, which is really cool that it did include that for like games like Team Fortress and stuff. Don't always allow you to play games like that if you have a not that creative graphics card, but this really, it's cool to see that Blizzard compensated for people with lower graphics. And even with the lower graphics, it looks good, but it's not as like PlayStation 3 stunning as it is if you have a high graphics card. It really is beautiful. The cutscenes are well directed. I feel like I'm watching like one of those like CGI movies that come out, like Resident Evil, you know what I'm talking about, the Resident Evil movie that came out. Those kind of movies, I feel like I'm watching that. It's really cool. You have old characters that come in. You have new characters that come in too. The story really flows, and it really makes you wanting for more at the end. You still play as your 3 races: Zerg, Protoss, and Terran. Each one have their own skill sets, each one have their own weaknesses, and each one has some new units. Like, for the Protoss, they have the Colossus, which is basically a giant War of the Worlds style walker. Clearly, it's obviously influenced, and that's really cool. The Zerg have roaches, which are like, not tanks, but anti-armor units. They have Failings, which are like little kamikaze bastards that will just crash into structures and blow them up. Terran have the Thor, which is basically a giant mechanized like war machine that literally lay waste to everything. It's really cool that you have old units like Zealots, the Marines, you have your basic staples, and it's really cool that they brought almost all the old units into the multiplayer and a bunch of new units. In the campaign, you have a very role-playing game mixed with an RTS almost. The whole gameplay-wise is strictly real-time strategy with a variety of missions. The mission variety really stunned me, from stealth missions to defense missions to to escort missions to wipe out the enemy base. You really do have that sense of that large sense of scale. And just with the armies, they're just massive, and it's really cool that the cap has kind of been raised so you can have more units on the screen battling, and even the in-game graphics look phenomenal. The voice acting is great. All the old actors reprise their roles, which is really cool to see. Really, the multiplayer, the new improved BattleNet is cool, but I would admit it can be intimidating for people. I'm not going to take points off of that because that's just people's opinion. But with all the great players out there, mainly Koreans who pretty much can wipe the floor with 90% of us, are just, it's really intimidating going on, but what they did, which is cool, is they kind of structured it so you can almost, you pretty much get paired with anybody of your skill, which is really nice. And if you don't do so well, they'll move you back down, they'll pair you up, so you really do build, and you can always play with the computers if people are too hard. You can set them on a number of difficulties, which is really cool. You have challenge-based modes, which teach you the game and what units you work with units, how to defend yourself from rushes, how to use these units effectively. That's really cool. They put almost a tutorial/fun system. Achievements are in it, which is really cool. It's kind of like, well, Xbox has this, let's do this. The achievements seem a little bit hard, some of them, mainly the multiplayer one, because it's like win 1,000 and you get this little picture. It's cool, but it still obviously needs to be a little bit developed to catch up with the Xbox style achievements. But overall, Starcraft is an incredible RTS. Really, the biggest problem I found is lag in games, and that could be anybody. That can't be pinned on anybody really. But the lag in games is a bit of a problem, and I feel the maps aren't as good. It could be just me because I haven't played this Starcraft in a long time. I feel did play the old Starcraft before I played this one, like in preparation. I went through it again. I feel like the map design in the multiplayer was much better. I feel it had a little bit more diversity, but that was just me. Like, always one map that's always stuck in my mind is there was 3 islands, it could be 4 islands, and they were all little islands with a little narrow strip of road connected to a large island, and that always stuck with me as a really cool one. One map that I do love is a city-style map where you play on the rooftops of buildings. I thought that was pretty clever. But overall, Starcraft 2 is a game for any RTS fan I could recommend. I really don't have almost no problems with this game. So based on that, and based on most of the problems with just personal things that I can't blame the developers for, I do have to give StarCraft 2 a 5 out of 5.